Good morning and welcome to my blog Wisdom for Today. And today I want to talk to you about the firm anchor we have in Jesus Christ. You know, as we look at the news, we may get a little frightened because there seems to be a lot of wars springing up everywhere. We also may feel great empathy for people that we know that are stuck in some of those war zones, or cultures that we know that are stuck in some painful places. And we wonder, what is it all coming to? But you know, as a Christian, we have an anchor in Jesus Christ. Remember what an anchor does? It holds a ship into place in spite of a storm. There's a song by Amy Grant called Raining on the Inside. I really like the song. And my favorite line in the song is that it's hard to walk in shifting sand. It's hard to walk when the ground is shifting beneath you. It's hard to keep a straight path. And you really can't do it unless you have a path where your feet can land and keep you to go forward. And that path is Jesus Christ. That path for us is knowing that He's finally in control and not us, and that He is guiding our way. You know, in the book of Hebrews, the Apostle Paul, we believe, who wrote the book, 6:17 through 19, it says, "We have fled to take hold of hope, offered to us that we may be greatly encouraged." In other words, the first thing we do is grab onto the hope, and we ran to take hold of it. And then it says that we have this hope, an anchor in our soul, firm and secure. An anchor in our soul. Something that's going to hold us down in spite of how much the sand is shifting and the waves are blowing. You know, anchors haven't changed much through the ages. When archaeologists recently discovered an anchor from Babylon, they found it to be almost similar to the anchors we have today. It's a heavy weight with a hook on the bottom. And one of the things that the anchors teach us is that the anchor is only as good as the rock it hooks onto. And a talented sailor in the ancient days knew how to find water beneath there were rocks, that a cleft of the rock that anchor could hang on to and not be blown by the sea. So Jesus is not only our anchor, Jesus is our rock. He holds us secure and He shows us where we're going. Some scriptures on Jesus being our rock. I want you to know, because Jesus is our rock, He is our fortress, our deliverer, the horn of our salvation, and our stronghold. Listen to Psalms 18:2. "The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. My God, my rock in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold." My stronghold. That's an old-fashioned word that was often used in battle. The stronghold would be the places where the armies would gather behind or within. So we're talking about a cave or a mountain. And they understood that this cave or mountain will protect them. So they had to hang on to it, and they had to secure themselves in it. Otherwise, the armies would get them. Jesus is the rock, the cave that we hide behind when life seems to attack us from all ends. It's a place we find refuge from the cold and from the heat of the day. We find sustenance in the person of Jesus. But more than that, Jesus is the rock where springs of water flush out. You know the story of Moses, when God told him to touch the rock. Paul talks about that again in 1 Corinthians 10:4. "And they all drank from the same spiritual drink. They were drinking from the spiritual rock which followed them. The rock was Christ." He's referencing that story when the people were thirsty and God had a spring come out of the rock. Jesus Christ, it quenches our thirst. And it gives us strength to look beyond the current circumstances. I think what's painful for me when I see trouble in the war, it seems like the same places always get trouble, and it makes my heart ache for those people. But in the end, all I can really do is pray for them and pray with them. As you go throughout your day today, my prayer is that you'll see that Christ is your rock who refreshes you so that you can refresh others. But I also pray that you see that this rock that you have, other people have too. And it can see them through the most violent of wars and the most darkest of times. I hope to see you in church this Sunday, and I pray that you have your feet firmly on the rock when shifting sand occurs. God's blessings, and have a wonderful day.